say who you are, what you're about,
Mhm.
you- and just why you're here today, basically.
Um, my name is Tyler Campbell. I'm a student in college,
What college?
the City College of New York.
Okay.
What was the next question?
Just like just what you're about and why you chose to share your words on this platform today.
Um, Help me out. Like, what exactly you want me to answer the question to? Give me a question and I'll answer it.
Okay.
It's pertaining to the stuff the it's pertaining to racism and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like well, specifically what I know, like your post from like on Facebook and stuff, is just like that how you're a very deep Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of just like the interrelation of like race and Christianity through
Say
like
it one more time. You're breaking up.
kind of the interrelations of race and Christianity, especially as a black man.
Race and Christianity. I mean, when it comes to Christianity doesn't see a race. It wasn't designed for like your race is superior to this race and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's not what it was really designed for. You know what I'm saying? If like if people have that perception of Christianity, then that's completely man-made for me. So it's like people take their own spin off of Christianity and present it as it to be, you know, same thing with like different like religions and denominations and stuff. Like it wasn't meant to be like that. That's what man did. So when it comes to Christianity and race, Christianity doesn't see any race as superior. You're supposed to live you're supposed to live good with each other, regardless. There's no superior race, or it's not like you're better than me because you are taller than I am, or I'm better than you because I'm faster than you are,
Hmm.
etc., etc.
Hmm. Yeah, no. Can you just speak on just how like Christianity has developed in your life, your family, and basically, yeah, just how Christianity has affected you as a person, as a human being.
I mean, I grew up in a Christian household, so at the end of the day, um, I don't know everything, but I'm pretty much I'm able to answer. I'm able to answer. I'm able to answer questions pertaining to what I'm about and what I believe.
Mm.
But like I said, there's no such thing as a superior. Uh, what's it called? There's no such thing as a superior denomination or whatever. And pretty much my whole family uh is wrapped around Christianity. Um, some may be of different denominations, but at the end of the day, we all serve the same God.
Mm. And for like Seventh Day Adventist and Catholics, can you just
Mhm.
speak a little bit more about like how, well, it's kind of not the entire history of different streams of Christianity,
Mhm.
but as an uneducated Christian, can you tell me a little bit more about the different sections?
Nope, I can't. I can tell you about SDA because that's what I am, but
Yeah,
I can't tell you about Catholics because I'm ignorant when it comes to that. So I don't know. I don't have any knowledge about that.
yeah. Can you tell me about Seventh Day Adventist?
Like you want to like what it's about? You want like a bio?
Yeah.
Okay. Seventh Day Adventism is we're mostly known for going to church on Saturdays. Um we don't really worship God on Sunday, like pretty much the rest of the world, which is one of the reasons why we're unique. And the reason why we do worship on Saturdays is because um, in the scriptures, it says that God created the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day, He rested. Um,
Hmm.
we believe in the complete Bible. It's not the Old Testament is outdated and the New Testament took over. That is not what we believe in. We believe in the start of the Bible to the from the Old Testament, from Genesis all the way to Revelation. None is superior to the other. It's all one truth. Um, we also believe we also worship on Saturday on Saturday because I said that already. Um, other other denominations will say that it's the Old Testament was the Old Testament is different because it's outdated and the New Testament took over, and they say that they worship on Sundays um because Jesus rose from the dead on Sunday. But um if you actually read the full story in the Bible, you can see that Jesus still rested in the grave on Saturday. He was crucified Friday. He rested in the grave on Saturday, and he rose on the first day of the week. So even within the New Testament, God still rested on the Sabbath. What else? And we believe that you're supposed to worship God um, with your life. Being a Christian and I'm forget about all the denomination stuff, but being a Christian is like a lifestyle. It's not like you just same thing with being even if you're part of the SDA religion or whatever denomination or whatever it is, um, you have to. It's like people have to. People can look at you and know that you're different based off of um based off of the vibe that you give and your persona and stuff. Um, you're not like the rest of the world. And uh, what else about SDA? Oh, we don't eat pork because it's considered unclean, and we also don't eat anything in this. We don't eat seafood. We don't eat anything in the sea that doesn't have scales. It has to have scales for us to eat it. So like lobster and squid and stuff, we don't eat that stuff. But yeah. Do you have any questions?
The question in mind, because my aunt is a hardcore Christian, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always the burning question of why is the all-powerful God or the all-powerful,
Allowing this to happen? Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Oh, you want to hear my opinion?
I w- yes.
Okay. Um. Uh. Well. Nobody knows the definite answer to that question, but um, when you have when you what's it called? When you if you have any form of any type of relationship with God and you pray and stuff, and you communicate with Him and develop a relationship with Him, you begin to understand the type of God that you begin to understand the type of God that you serve. So, from my opinion, I think there's many possibilities as to why God could allow this stuff to be happening. And by this stuff, you're talking about what? You're talking about like the riots and stuff, or are you talking about like what are you
Just
talking about? Chaos?
just in kind of just even capitalism as a whole, because
Mm-hmm.
even America is all about in God we trust, but if the values are in God,
Mm-hmm.
how can such like
America,
despicable
America's hypocritical.
Like even that throughout the world.
Hmm?
Like even not just essentially America, but the entire world in a nut.
You're asking, your question is, be specific with your question, please.
Why
Hmm.
does suffering continue to happen?
Why does it continue to happen? Why does God allow it to continue to happen?
Yes.
Okay. So, that's a question that I've heard a lot. There could be many reasons for it. In my opinion, God could allow suffering to happen for many different reasons. One of the reasons could be that He could be testing our faith, because you're supposed to have faith in God, because and faith is an example of us showing our trust and our belief in Him as our Father, as our Savior, and stuff. When it comes to faith, it's easy to have faith in things that you can see, but since we can't see God, that is where our faith plays key. And it's easy to have faith. It's easy to trust and worship God in the good times, but it is not easy to trust and have faith in Him during the bad times. You can walk down the street every single day, go about your daily activities, where you go to school, or whether you go to work, or wherever it is that you go. But at the end of the day, if you're having a great day, everything's going good, you're gonna say, "Oh yes, God is great. Everything's good. Everything's good. Let's praise God. Da, 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 da. Let's go out. Let's do this. Let's do that. Everything's good." Sometimes, even in those good times, we might even forget God. But it's when bad stuff happens, that's when people want to say, "Oh, God, why would you allow this to happen? You're so good. Why would you do this?" Sometimes it's a wake up call. Just during these, what's it called? People can have good days and bad days. The world is full of sin, regardless. So, and all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So, with that being said, we all need prayer, and we all need to um, put our trust in Him. And it's times like these when um, it's times like these where like our faith is actually being tested. That could be one reason. It could be a test of faith, because I could say God is great because He took me out of that past situation, but on my good days, do I acknowledge that God is still great? Or am I too distracted by everything being great around me that I forget God? You understand what I'm saying? So does, does that make sense? Or
Yeah, yeah. So it's no, because I definitely it's odd. There's multiple concepts in Christianity that I'm like very serious in, like the idea of forgiveness, um,
mhm,
even the whole like Ten Commandments is even
mhm,
a strong point. But
mhm.
when we
Oh, now that you mentioned commandments, sorry to interrupt you. I remember something that you mentioned, the Ten Commandments. Um, Also, the fourth commandment is remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. It's a part of God's law. That's another thing. That's another reason why Seventh Day Adventists, we worship on this. We believe that the seventh day, which is Saturday, we believe that that's the that's a that's a special day for us to worship God, do nothing but worship God, as opposed to Sunday. And just because we believe that this Saturday is the designated day doesn't mean that we only worship on Saturday. No, we believe that you're supposed to worship God all day, as much as you can, spend as much time with God as you want. It's like he's your God, he's your Father. You're supposed to have a you're supposed to spend as much time with him as you can. It's like spending time with your family. You want to spend as much time with your family as you can, even if it's a text to say how are you. even if it's a prayer to say, "Hi God, I'm just checking in. Thank you for life," or whatever it is. So a lot of people get that confused. They believe that just because we believe that the seventh day is the day of worship, that means that that's the only day. No, that's the only day that you're supposed to. No, it's not like that. We just believe that that's like our that's the time that God wanted us to put aside for Him, in addition to our daily relationship that we have with Him on the regular, on an everyday basis.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
yeah. And
And it's the only commandment that says remember. The fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Because God knew that people were going to forget, and He knew that everything was going to change.
and actually that bridges off perfect. Why, well, in your opinion, why do you feel that church is inside, uh historically speaking, every event was outside, even like, outreach, anytime there's talk about disciples, there's some journey, and it is always outside, especially in times like this. Why do you think
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like, faith is restricted to a building almost?
Faith is you're saying that faith is restricted to, you mean like,
Yeah, it's just
are
why.
you saying
Why do you? In
yeah, I
your
don't
opinion,
follow. I don't follow. Can you restate the question?
in your opinion, why is church restricted to a building versus outside?
Oh, okay.
The suffering is.
Actually, I don't agree with that. Church is not it's not confined to a building. At least it's not, because you can have church in your house. I mean, but what's it called? You could definitely have church in your house, but it's not confined to a building. Not in my opinion,
Oh,
because I mean, what's it called? Even in happen.
hello.
Yeah, what happened? You said
Yeah,
something?
yeah. No, I said like, even like when you said house, I meant like building, like it's like on, like have church on the street, have church, uh, in the road.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that.
Yeah, but I never see that. Or me personally, the majority of
Okay,
church.
well, in my in in the Seventh Day Adventist Church, at least, because I could speak on what I know. I don't know about anything else, but um, I do know a little bit about other denominations, but not enough to be able to advocate or speak on it. But I could speak on Seventh Day Adventism because that's what I grew up in. Um, in my denomination, as like Seventh Day Adventist, and in my conference, Northeastern Conference of the Seventh Day Adventist Church, we have a camp meeting um, twice a year at least. We have a camp meeting. Every year we'll go to, and the camp meeting is always held at Camp Victory Lake in Hyde Park, New York, upstate. And it's basically where we put up tents 2 weeks in a row in this summertime, I believe. And it's what's it called? It's basically open for the community, and church itself is supposed to be open for the community. But that's an example of us having church outside on the street. So, and we also do evangelism and stuff, where and we go out and hand out tracts and knock on people's doors and stuff, or yeah, stuff like that. So it's not like confined to a building. You can have church anywhere you want to. And uh like I said, we do camps. We have, is this where like all the churches in the Northeastern Conference will go to that campsite in Hyde Park. And it's every year for 2 weeks in a row. And in addition to that, once every 5 years, we have something called Oshkosh. Oshkosh is also what do you call it? A town, I guess, in Wisconsin, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Um, Once every 5 years, everybody in the whole world of every Seventh Day Adventist church in the whole world, we meet up in Wisconsin, in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and we have an even bigger campsite because it's the whole world. So it has to fit. I'm talking people from all 7 different continents. You know what I'm saying? So everybody comes once every 5 years, and together we'll, what's it called? We put up our tents and stuff, and we basically um, worship for one whole week, and then we'll go back home. It's such a big event that it happens once every 5 years.
Yeah, I was about to say why couldn't something well, not that magnitude, but just town by town or church by church, why couldn't that happen like, once a month or, bi-weekly or, church inside, church outside, church inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I don't really know the answer to that question. Um, uh, yeah, I don't really know the answer to that question. But you also you also got to take into consideration that it's it's like it's a lot to um have like your to move everything to a different location, an event. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have, let's say you have even some people have congregations of over 5,000 people. Sometimes um, your physical building might be able to fit that capacity, but your parking lot outside might not be able to fill that capacity. So it's not like, and people can't just like have a congregation in the middle of the street while people are trying to get to where they need to go. You have to, even when we do parades in my church, when we do parades and stuff, like because we have a drum corps too, and we use it as a form of outreach, community outreach. Like we have yeah, we have a drum corps, and when we do like when we like play on the streets and stuff, you have to get permits for that. You can't just do it whenever you want because that's illegal. You have to get a permit. So if like you're doing a Memorial Day, like sometimes we'll do like a Memorial Day parade, and then we'll have like the cops following us and stuff because they know that we're doing it that day. We have the permit for it. So the cops come to like clear the streets and stuff, and other people have to go on the road and find different routes to where they need to go. So it's not something that could be done like once a month. It's not that easy. It's not like, yeah. That's like having Christmas every single day. Like, I mean, it's nice to buy people gifts once in a while, but let's say you have 15 people in your household, and you buy a gift for all 15 people every year. Would you be able to do that 365 days a year?
And if you're like PS5, no, but it's a thought.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a lot of work that goes into it. But for the times that we can, um, we will do it. Like I said, we do the thing in the camp meeting in Hyde Park once a year. No, twice a year. It's 2 weeks, 2 consecutive weeks every summer. And that consists of, for my conference, that consists of New York, upstate New York, Connecticut, and I believe Massachusetts, some places in Massachusetts. Um, but yeah, so, and they all go to Camp Victory Lake once a year. So there's really a lot that goes into it. It's not easy, and you have to go through a lot of stuff in order for the place that you're doing it in to give you permission. You have to get it's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Mhm. What type of uh oh boy, I keep losing the word. Listen to this. What type of What? Wow, I feel bad. What type what type of like the closest word I'm finding is like admiration or what as as a black man, what has the church given you?
What do you mean?
And church being, just God, Christianity, like how if you weren't in the church ever,
Mhm.
where do you think you would be right now?
If I wasn't in the church,
Versus
are you talking like physically in the church, or are you talking like
no, just like
are you
mentally,
talking
spiritually.
like being a Christian?
Yeah,
Which one? Are you talking about physically being in the church building, or are you talking about if I wasn't like a Christian?
yeah. Let's say Christian.
If I wasn't a Christian, what do you think I would be?
Or how would your mindset? What do you think? What do you think it might?
I mean, it's kind of hard to answer a question like that, considering that I grew up as a Christian, but um, I think um, I think I would probably be um, I think I'd probably need some guidance because um, or confused because like sometimes because even as a Christian, I still need guidance. Like I said, nobody's perfect. Christians aren't better than non-Christians, and non-Christians aren't better than Christians. So nobody's better than anybody else. So at the end of the day, um, we're all human. We all sin. And if I wasn't a Christian, consider me as a Christian now, I need guidance. So if I wasn't a Christian, I know I would still need guidance.
Oh, that's interesting. Q dive a little bit more into like the guidance of Christianity and how that's changed you as a man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just even stuff like just treating other people like you, but like how you would like to be treated. That's the golden rule.
Mhm.
Doing to others as you would have them doing to you. I mean, like in life, if people do wrong against us, the natural thing to respond is, I'm gonna get them back. You know what I'm saying? But um, growing up as a Christian, you kind of understand that there's more to life than revenge. Life is too short to be trying to tear down your brother or your sister. And by your brother or your sister, I'm not just talking biological. I'm talking anybody that's around you, anybody in the world.
Mhm.
Is that a sufficient example for you?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's it. Um,
Okay.
what's your what's your daily routine like?
My daily routine.
Yeah,
I go to school and I go to work.
really? That's it. No, like
Hmm.
when is the best time to pray? How many times do you pray? Like any other?
Pray as often as you like. Like I said, it's like spending time with God is like spending time with your family. I don't believe that there's a specific number of times to know that there's no perfect amount of numbers number of times to pray, in my opinion. But my opinion is different from the next person's opinion. But it's like spending time with your family, or spending time with your wife or your husband, or whatever it is that you have, anybody that you love or care about. I mean, you want to spend as much time with those people as you can. Or think of it like you have a think of it like somebody that you love and care for is across the country, and you only see them once in a blue moon. You know what I'm saying? You would want to, would you not want to talk to that person as often as you can?
Hmm.
Hello?
What would you say to a young man or young woman that is on the fence about being Seventh Day Adventist and they just need a little bit more push?
What do you mean?
Like somebody comes to you and they say, I want to learn more about Seventh Day Adventists. I think I'd really like it, but I don't have enough information to make that choice.
Um, what do you mean? What would I say to them?
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably say that I would probably try to, what's it called? I would try to teach them as much as I possibly can. I mean, I don't know everything, but um, if anybody's willing to if anybody's willing to learn about God, I'm always willing to share as much as I possibly can.
Okay. Um, Q, shout out your church. Uh, everybody. Well, like
Say it again.
said, I don't know if you wanted to shout out your church or any of their social medias or anything like
Oh
that.
no, I don't need to. This is not for publicity. It's not
Oh no,
necessary.
no, just because there could be somebody that's listening and they're like, where do I go? Or not where do I go because of COVID, but uh, what do I check out?
Oh well, I mean, if that's the case, then I mean, what's it called? Because I live in Queens, so
Mm,
um, there's like what's it called? I would tell them to go on the SDA website and find a church in their area because wherever is convenient for them to go to.
okay. Have any closing remarks? Any?
Closing remarks. Nope.
I'm in. Uh, Thank you for sharing these words of wisdoms.
You got it.
And that's it for this episode of Real Talk. Thank you for tuning in.
You got it, man. All right.